With the RCF Airbender, Gamma simplifies paddle customization. The paddle comes stock with a removable Zorbicon Shockbuster gel insert. Keep it installed to minimize vibrations or remove it for increased maneuverability. The Airbender has an average weight of 8.3 ounces and an elongated shape. Every paddle comes with a raw carbon fiber surface and 16mm polypropylene honeycomb core. For those who want to take customization to the next level, there's a kit with weighted butt caps and an accessory package of weighted plugs, both of which are sold separately. So Mark, when I first looked at these paddles, the thing that stands out the most are the holes and especially this removable plug. So fill me in on what you thought off the bat.
I'll start it off with both you and I. We have a background in tennis. I notice with light tennis rackets, although you have a string bed for airflow, the racket will kind of get pushed around. That makes it harder for me to contact the ball and the tennis racket. When it comes to a pickleball paddle, you've just got a completely non-porous surface, so all the wind has to go around the paddle instead of through it. I think it's brilliant to cut a hole in the paddle that allows for airflow, and I felt like, you know, this paddle, I think stock was running about 8.1, 8.3, even without any plugs in it. So I felt like the mass was there for me, and adding the plug to it only added more weight. But I really appreciated the airflow. It allowed me to kind of utilize the extra mass and accelerate it a little easier. And holding it in a static position, like when I'm waiting for one of your serves on a return, it actually stays put instead of shifting around a little bit. So I definitely noticed the benefit of the hole. And the one thing I will say is some of the other paddles that have kind of the same airflow option seem to bend and flex at that point, and I didn't notice that with this paddle, which to me was a benefit.
Like you said, I too didn't notice any sort of instability near that airflow channel. It felt really consistent for me throughout the paddle. When I first played with it, I played with that insert in, and what I noticed is it did offer a really solid feel, and I also noticed that it dampened the sound. I wouldn't say this one is a loud paddle without this insert, but it just, with it in, it even made it feel a little bit softer and a little bit quieter. For me, because this one with it installed, it felt a little bit sluggish at net. I actually really liked to take it out because I liked the feel and control whether it was installed or not. It just made it a little bit more maneuverable for me, especially when it's getting in those quick rallies at net.
I agree. Good power from the baseline, allowed you to be you, really soft in towards the net. So that was my next question. I was wondering what you thought about the power level.
I thought it was a really consistent power level. I didn't find it to be any hot spots on this paddle, and I felt it was consistent throughout our play test. I didn't feel like this was one of those paddles where I feel like I'm just all about power. I thought it was a well-balanced paddle as far as control and power. Fit my game really well. I'm not trying to hit people off the court, so I thought it was sufficient for my game.
Very nice. Yeah, I concur almost wholeheartedly. The power level of this paddle, I got along with the power level and the control level very well. Looking at the specs initially, it's a thermoform paddle. I'm thinking there's going to be a lot more liveliness, not necessarily sound, but a lot more pop off of it. To me, my take on it is it's a fairly low powered paddle. I might put it in the all court category, but just a notch below towards control. Maybe not as control oriented as a Lux paddle, but definitely not as lively as a Power Air. I often use those two paddles to compare because they're so polarizing in terms of power levels. This paddle for me, from just about any part of the court, was great. I'm a decent source of power on the ball, but I really appreciate a lot of touch and cushion in towards the net. So, you know, this one checked most of the boxes. Elongated paddle, I know we both tend to enjoy the longer paddle kind of thing. What'd you think about the handle and the grip?
For me, I like the handle length. I am able to get just barely, but I can get both hands on it when I want to throw on that second hand for a backhand. The one drawback I have, I like the length. I would be throwing an overgrip on it. This perforated grip is really not my favorite, but that's an easy fix. What did you think?
I'm not a big fan of perforated grips either. I definitely feel like this is 100% a premium paddle offering, and I might be a little critical on the grip, but I'm 100% agreeing with you on that. I would probably remove the perforated grip and just put a new one on there altogether. But altogether, that was not a game changer for the performance of the paddle.
You know, we've been testing these a little while. I see just minor wear on the edge guard of this one. Overall, for the durability, I'm impressed. What did you think about the durability? How are these paddles holding up?
Well, I don't have anger management moments with paddles the way I used to, but I would say these are extremely durable paddles. They scuff and scrape the court and really don't show any decline in performance or any kind of fuzzy sound. There's no cracking or anything like that. Time will tell. I know a lot of these thermoform paddles seem to liven up, or I've even heard people refer to it as they get hotter. So I guess we'll have to revisit this at a later time. But in stock form, I just thought this paddle really meshed with my game very nicely.
I also thought this comes nice stock. I personally went without the stock insert that comes with it. I didn't get a chance to try around with it, but these paddles, you can get that weighted butt cap system, and I believe there's additional plugs as well at different weights. Were you able to try any of those?
I did try them all, and by the time I put them all together, you've got increments of 3, 6, and 9 grams. So of course, I've got to try, what's the heaviest butt cap feel like with the heaviest shock absorber in it. And basically it made me feel my age. Power was great from the backcourt, but it was feeling a little clunky in towards the net. You were definitely gonna pass me before I even got the paddle in position. So yeah, if you're one of those people that can counterpunch and utilize a lot of weight and swing it, like nobody's business, then the extra weight's really gonna benefit you. I might add one of the lighter caps and one of the lighter Vibrazorb shock busters in there, but I probably wouldn't go any higher than that at this stage of my pickleball life.
I think that wraps up our review of the RCF Airbender 16. This paddle is a great option to take a look at if you're wanting to check out customization options. You do get the one stock insert, but if you want to take it at that step further, there are the 2 different kits that are sold separately. If you're looking for more information on the RCF Airbender 16 or anything else pickleball related, be sure to check us out at totalpickleball.com.